Wow. Those are demons. Those are goody demons. You know, in a time where the church is more full of devils that are bad against good gods, it's kind of fun to bring up goody demons. Outside of my smoke, or coming out of my smoke, playing around in my smoke was goody demons. Demons that are actually good. That's kind of comforting, like good people. Good people, like, renew your faith in goodness. Why God always fights for good. Goody demons make you realize that, like, just like black magic, there's good and bad in absolutely everything and anything. And that's just kind of comforting, because good can always win. If there's always good in everything, good can always win. But I thought I would commemorate something kind of fun. There's something pretty fun. And yeah, I don't real smoke. I fake smoke. I put the smoke in my mouth, then I just lit it up. So see, that was big, fatsy, old goody demons. So those are really big, fat, old demons. Trying to be like cherubs. Often a cherub is remarkably old, but they like to look like babies with little wings and fly around and stuff. Did you guys see that video where I left my body and I had wings and a human form, a naked human form and wings, and I was with one of the gods a god that I had to pretend to be their child, but now I just call him daddy. One of those gods has a legendary, really old cherub. He's like so old it would dumbfound anyone. But in that video, he looks so tiny, like a little baby of cutesiness, playing his little trumpet or whatever and flying around. And he's just remarkably old. If you ever think you're saying my queen, you'll find out he's just so old. And he looks like the cutest, most adorable little baby flying around with me. And it was the video where I got caught and I was visiting a really great, chosen, monumental man. And I was flying onto a rooftop, and I had just a human naked form with my wings, the way I often love to fly around as daddy's baby, or the pretend daughter when I was with that daddy. And hanging out with my cherub, one of our cherubs, with daddy's cherubs. But they're remarkably old. If they ever talk to you and just be themselves, they're so old. And you'd look at them and say, but you look like the cutest little baby with wings. And it's the one where I was flying down and walking on rooftops. And there was a cherub with a little trumpet. Well, good news in my resurrection process. So I work for Lyft, the company that I as a God watch over. And I'm trying to apply for a Walmart job. The company that God, Jesus' daddy, watches over. Well, there's another one. I'm trying to apply for this job. The company is called Footprints. So the company is called Footprints. Every God loves that company. So that was a company built by every God in existence, pretty much. The owner, oh goodness. I guess when you fake smoke, it doesn't work real, because the smoke part always runs out. And you have to relight it and relight it and relight it. I guess fake smoking is not the same as real smoking. But anyway, it's called Footprints. The company's called Footprints. And it was named with the owner that way because the owner wanted to celebrate that all gods, all angels, all people have footprints. And it's like the beauty of leaving your hands and feet as God's footprint or handprint everywhere, to leave those imprints on life and spirituality and the future. And so the owner named the company Footprints, or Footprint, or Footprints. And I have tried to work there. And thankfully, it's not a massive job. You just go do your little cards. I think it's cards like Hallmark. So I had worked at Hallmark. And I was really sad because Hallmark is a God company. So God the Father of Jesus, that's one of his companies, is Hallmark. But when I worked there, the manager was so abusive and sickening that I don't think anybody would work there unless there's something wrong with them and they love abusive, disgusting people. I don't, so I just could not stomach being there. But so that was just sad. But I do have the experience of just taking the cards and using it. And it's pretty easy. You just put the numbers. They're kind of packed in the numbers. You put them where the cards go. So, and the pretty displays. Every now and then they have a brand new pretty display. You just put their display together. And that's kind of pretty. So I thought, okay, I'm going to apply for that footprints. So I wanted to post it. Why? Because as soon as I started working for Lyft, everybody who is good and worthy and deserving, they've been pretty much the most famous with angels and gods Lyft drivers ever known. I don't mention it all the time because I feel bad for Amazon. I tried to do that Amazon Flex. So I was trying to work as an Amazon Flex driver so I could bring the power of God into Amazon. But I just couldn't get into it for whatever reason. It just wasn't, I guess, my kind of thing. It just didn't click. So I never ended up doing it. Well, so I feel bad I don't tell the truth about stuff because I feel bad. And I put my powers into Amazon whenever I have time, whenever I can. I make sure to try to schedule somebody I give a ride to that works at Amazon so I could throw my powers in when I drive by the Amazon buildings. But so I don't try to say too much out loud because I don't want people to feel bad. But when I went on food stamps, I did go on food stamps. But as a God, I have to get permission. I have to get God level permission to get on food stamps. Because when I get on food stamps, it starts to become that song. It's the first of the month. So everybody grab your checks and come on. So once I went on food stamps, and that was a few years or so ago. It was a few years or so ago, and I was making my bills. But I wasn't doing perfect. So I got food stamps. As soon as I went on food stamps, my powers, and I wasn't resurrected totally back then, but my powers were taking everybody on food stamps or welfare and just turning them into royalty welfare people. And they were loving it, but as soon as I'm not allowed to do it anymore, the gods tell me I have to stop. So then I had to stop. But it was a bummer because, boy, they were living large even on welfare. It was kind of fun because I have felt heartbroken that they kept ruining welfare in the name of this country until you can't really live on welfare. Welfare checks won't pay all your bills. You cannot. You have to live with other people pretty much now because welfare will not completely pay your bills. When I was really young and I had that first child, Matthew, welfare paid all the bills. I mean, you couldn't live lavish or fancy, but welfare paid the bills and paid the bills good enough while you got a job and got back on your feet. And now it doesn't work like that at all. They have to live with other people or figure out what to do or survive. It's really sad. So I felt really cool and amazing that my powers were rocking and rolling the welfare system. But I have to get permission from gods because it's benefiting a country that did this to me. So you have to get permission. So far I don't have permission, so I can't do that. And then, like I said, I didn't want Amazon to feel bad, but I kind of want to say this because if I get a job at Walmart, get ready, good little girls and boys, to rock and roll. And if I get a job at this Footprints, I think they're going to rock and roll probably bigger and better than most any companies except Amazon, Lyft, and the ones that belong to me, because Footprints is claimed by quite a few gods. So you can really rock and roll with the power of God a lot more than if just one god owns the company. However, if I run and have the company, I'm the biggest god. So it's still rock and rolls pretty good when the biggest gods have claimed the company. So get ready, footprints. All of you who work for Footprints, if I get hired, get ready to wake up one day and it's like you've become superheroes of the legendary angels throughout time and history, of the reality of the legendary gods throughout everywhere. Just trust me. I started working at Lyft and they all looked like they were about to fly through the clouds and become giants of gods in 2 seconds. So get ready. The power of God will take you guys up like wings and start flying with you if I get hired, when I get hired. Now, will I? I don't know. I'll keep you guys posted.